Why are you supporting Haiti today?
Well, what the group that brought us all together is called the Haiti Action Committee, and it's a group consisting of folks who've got long-term ties to Haiti, including a Haitian American leader, and we stand in solidarity with the people's movement in Haiti for real democracy and human rights. And what we're seeing happening in Haiti is a direct consequence of U.S. intervention and U.S. imperialism. So we feel it's particularly important for us as people here in the U.S. to speak out and tell our government to stop propping up this brutal dictatorship.
And you guys are all just concerned citizens from the Bay Area?
Yeah, we are, yeah. I teach high school in the Bay Area, and we have a sister school in Haiti, so I've taken 12 different student groups there. So a lot of us have ties to Haiti that are very personal.
And what would be some resources for people if they want to educate themselves?
We would really recommend that folks check our Haiti Action Committee website at HaitiSolidarity.net. There's a lot of information there about the struggle in Haiti at this point, and I think that will be really important for folks.
And do you have any upcoming actions coming up that you plan on doing?
Well, there's this today, and then we're also launching we're asking folks to contact their representatives in Congress. We're launching a pressure campaign on the Biden administration to change U.S. foreign policy.
Cool.
The support for the current dictatorship in Haiti was full board under Trump, and it was also occurring under President Obama. So we want the Biden administration to change course and to support real democracy. We also are here in San Francisco to call that out to Representative Pelosi.
I see.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to say?
Not right off the top of my head, just appreciate you coming out. We always appreciate the independent media. That's what's up. Okay. We want to thank everybody for coming out today. We know it's not easy to come out in this current context, but this is an extremely important moment for us to intensify our solidarity with the people of Haiti. So we're just going to practice a few chants to get our energy up, and as we continue to assemble, and we're going to have some folks sharing some words, and we're also going to have a march. But we want to really, from our hearts, thank you for taking the right stand at the right moment. At this point in time in Haiti, hundreds of thousands of people are on the streets. Last Sunday, there were hundreds of thousands all over the country struggling for an end to the U.S.-backed dictatorship of Moise. So let's practice some chants, shall we? Yeah, we're just warming up here. U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free.
U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free.
U.S. out of Haiti,
Haiti will be free.
U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. All right.
Haiti will be free.
Let's give a shout out.
Haiti
Will be free. Let's give a shout out to this amazing banner. This amazing banner. We know full well that the massacres in Haiti, like the one that happened in La Saline, are a product of U.S. foreign policy, of the United States backing, sustaining the dictatorship, training its police, funding its police. So this banner is extremely important. I want to give a shout out to the amazing artists who did these tap taps, the painted tap taps for Haitian transportation, and Terry has painted these and made these. So thank you very much, Terry. No to occupation. Yes, yes, yes.
I'll take one.
And as we continue to establish our presence,
I'll just take two, but just take one. Thank you so much.
let's not forget
I'll be recording. Thank you.
against the elected President John Bertrand Aristide, February 29, 2004, and that the current dictatorship in Haiti is a consequence of that coup. We are here to stand in solidarity with the vast movement of the Haitian people, the poor majority of the Love Lust movement, calling for the restoration of the democracy that was stolen from them on February 29, 2004. So when you hear about hundreds of thousands of people in the streets of Haiti, that's part of an ongoing resistance that's been launched ever since that coup. What Haitians call the coup napping of President Aristide. U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. That's right. We encourage folks to stretch out. Before we march, we want to get everybody into this. Not right this moment, I'll let you know, but we want to get a good, huge group photo to send to the comrades, the people of Haiti, that they are not alone in this struggle. That there are people here that will come out and physically protest. So, we'll make sure that that happens. It's impressive that folks are turning out. We really appreciate that. You know, the current president, the dictator of Haiti, Jovenel Moise, was turned out. Never should have been there in the first place. But he was turned down on February 7th, Sunday. He was supposed to leave. And 2 days before that, the Biden administration State Department spokesperson Ned Price said that he had U.S. backing to stay unconstitutionally for another year. So when people took to the streets on Sunday, February 7th, demanding that he go, without surprise, he arrested a Supreme Court justice, fired 2 others, and did a series of other arrests, and the repression has been ferocious ever since. There's a clear line. And also, on February 7th, right after the U.S. announced its support, he cut a deal with Haitian sweatshop owner anti-capitalism to basically give a man 8,000 acres of land, displacing peasants, linked to a consortium of business interests involving the Clinton family. This is the type of stuff that's going down. And it's very clear that February 5th, the State Department says go ahead and stay another year. February 7th, we see what comes down the pipe. So it's very important that we stand here in Nancy Pelosi's district. For shame. All this talk about human rights and democracy, we know full well that the United States lifted its finger. If Pelosi, Biden spoke out, it would be over. So let's chant even louder. U.S. out of Haiti! U.S. out of Haiti! It's an honor and privilege to introduce Pierre who helped co-found the Haiti Action Committee right after the first coup against President Aristide. Many of you know Pierre, maybe all of you. But he's been tireless in his solidarity,
Seth
tireless in
Donnelly.
his work.
Okay.
He's in South
Appreciate
Bay.
it, love you so much, brother.
He's a teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's give it up for Pierre.
Yeah, that's he's heading the tap. Gray hair, black sweater.
This afternoon, and to see so many of you show up and be there in solidarity with the people of Haiti. 17 years ago, when President Aristide was overthrown and kidnapped in that bloody coup d'etat, also many elected officials, from President Aristide down to local mayors and city council members, men and women, thousands of them were also removed from office. They were the result of elections, democratic, free, fair elections in which they were overwhelmingly elected by the people of Haiti to represent their interests. And at that time, Haiti was on its way up because we had come from nearly 29 years of the Duvalier dictatorship, followed by several more years, let me see, 91, so we are talking about 86, 4 more years of military dictatorship, of Duvalierism, that had crippled the nation of Haiti. And so the people were organizing and changing the country. Things were beginning to happen. The national budget, 40% of the national budget went to the Haitian military. With President Aristide and the Famille Avalas movement in power, that money, the Haitian army was disbanded, and that 40% of the national budget was invested into building schools, building hospitals, and building roads for the people, providing our farmers with the tools they need to produce food for the nation. Things were looking up. There was a literacy program that started in 2001, and by the end of it, more than 100,000 people knew how to read and write. Over close to 200 high schools, 200 primary schools were built in the countryside, and over 120 high schools were also built in the countryside. All this during an economic embargo imposed by the US, Canada, France, and a number of countries. And they wanted to crush the Haitian people living in dignity, living as human beings. That's what the whole thing was all about. But also what it was about they wanted to put in the government, just like the Duvaliers, and that government was giving them free pass so they could plunder the country. And President Aristide and the people of Haiti in power said, no, you're not going to do that. Haiti has gold, Haiti has iridium, Haiti has uranium, Haiti has bauxite, Haiti has marble, copper. And they wanted to get that for nothing, for free, as they used to get it under Papa Doc and Baby Doc and other governments. And President Aristide and the people of Haiti said, no, you want our resources, you will negotiate a contract that will be beneficial to the Haitian nation, so that our sisters and brothers will stop fleeing the land in small boats and become food for sharks in the Atlantic Ocean. And that's what the movement was all about. The movement was also making sure that brothers and sisters who worked in the factories, President Aristide doubled the minimum wage. And he also enforced the labor codes. And he was making sure that people who never paid taxes before, I'm talking about big corporations, were allowed duty-free status for 10 years. As they closed factories in the US, moved them to Haiti. And President Aristide said, no, you will pay taxes just like everybody else. They didn't like that. They didn't like the doubling of the minimum wage. They didn't like the fact that the labor code would benefit the workers for the very first time and not having labor codes that were unenforced. Haiti is a nation with a lot of laws. There are laws on the books, but they are not enforced. Whether it's environmental laws or protection for people, for women and men and children, none of that was being enforced until the level of government. In the 10 years of democratic rule in Haiti, our people, sisters and brothers, were beginning to see a change in the economic model, a change in a state that was responding to the needs of the people and not to the needs of a little rapacious elite that's tied in with the imperialists. And so I know that my time is short, but I don't know how much of this that you hear. It's important that you understand what the struggle is all about. Brothers and sisters in Haiti have been out demonstrating time and time again in huge numbers by hundreds of thousands. But we don't hear it. And the representative of the UN came out the other day to say that there were only 3,000 people. Sisters and brothers, our sisters and brothers in Haiti are being massacred for the past 17 years by the police in Haiti, and the police in Haiti is trained by the US, Canada, and others that are part of the United Nations occupation forces. Haiti is under occupation by the UN right now. They try to pretend that it's Haitians. No, it's not. It's the UN. And what have they done? Not only did they put the police that's massacring our brothers and sisters, but also they have introduced a new force of Tonton Macouts. For people who don't know, the Tonton Macouts are actually death squads of the Duvaliers. They don't call them Tonton Macouts anymore, but what they do, they pretend that they are gangs, street gangs. But that's not true. The government is arming them. Everybody knows that in Haiti. They are kidnapping sisters and brothers. They are going to communities that are strongly pro-Lavalas, that stand for their rights as human beings, that stood against the theft of the election in 2016. They are going to these communities and massacring people, setting fire to the houses. And so this is what's been going on. Everybody knows that this thing is happening under the watchful eye of the United Nations, the OAS, and the so-called core group of countries. Those countries include Brazil, Spain, England, the European Union. Haiti is under colonial occupation. They have taken our sovereignty away from us. They have restored us, put us in the sense that we are a colony, and our Haitian sovereignty, brothers and sisters, are in the street trying to take our sovereignty back from these forces. So we need to understand what's going on. Right now, the people of Haiti are demanding that there be a transition government, as Formula has articulated this, and it's called Salut Public. When you hear Haitians saying Salut Public in Creole, it means Salut means safety, Public means public. So people in Haiti are demanding a government of public safety, that the grassroots movement will select individuals, credible, honest individuals, for those people to take a look at the country, form a government, address the needs of the population. People are suffering terribly. Invest in the quality of life that people need, and in a 36 months period, then set things together, organize the country so that honest, credible elections where every person's vote will count. And I'll stop right here to say that the Lavalas movement has a motto, and the motto is Tout moun se moun, as President Aristide loves to say, meaning every person is a human being, meaning entitled to the dignity and good living conditions that every human being must have. Thank you so much for your solidarity, and let's stay strong. All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. Long live Haiti.
Long live Haiti.
Long live international solidarity.
Long live international solidarity.
Right on.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Pierre.
All right, so what we'd like to do, we have more people to share words, but we want to begin our march. And we're going to march, and we'll follow the banner. We're going to march to the UN Plaza, speak out against the occupation. It has been aided and abetted both by the U.S. government and, of course, the occupation directly carried out by the United Nations Security Council. Before we go, though, we have a great turnout, and we would like to get the banner kind of close to the middle of the library and then line up on both sides of it and in front of it so that we can get a picture to send back to the comrades in Haiti. So if we can all just assemble there, move towards the front down here, and then we'll line up and follow. Right, follow the Ustadi with the flag and the banner. We're gonna follow him. He does the route. I can't say no. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free.
Now.
Have a good day. U.S. out of Haiti! Haiti will be free!
U.S. out of Haiti! Haiti will be free!
Or actually, stop the massacres in Haiti! Haiti will be free! Stop the massacres in Haiti! Haiti will be free! Stop the massacres in Haiti! Haiti will be free! Stop the massacres in Haiti! Haiti will be free! Haiti will be free! Stop the massacres! Stop the massacres! Stop the massacres! Stop the massacres! In the occupation! In the occupation! In the occupation! U.S. out of Haiti! U.S. out of Haiti! Right. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people won't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people won't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people won't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Of the Haitian nation! And the occupation! The war. Ain't no power in the power of the people, but the power of the people don't stop! Say what? Ain't no power in the power of the people, but the power of the people don't stop! Say what? Can we just come up a little bit more? We'll take this pause right here. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free. We're out here today to stand in solidarity with the people of Haiti. We're engaged in a life and death struggle for basic human rights and democracy, facing down a U.S.-backed dictatorship. We encourage folks in the public to have information to share. We're here to engage and share that information, have a dialogue, but we're here to call for a different foreign policy in the United States. We're calling for true solidarity with the brothers and sisters of Haiti. So let's say it one more time. U.S. out of Haiti! Haiti will be free! 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 Right on. We're going to have some drumming. We want to focus our energy and our solidarity. And we'll have a few more words from other folks. movement in the United States in solidarity. Students, teachers, veterans from the struggles in the 60s. It's a beautiful thing. We have a statement in solidarity with the movement in Haiti to be shared by Jeremy on behalf of the Black Alliance for Peace. So let's give it up for Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. Before I express our solidarity statement, can you join me please for a moment? Haiti will be free!
Haiti will be free!
Now come on, like you believe it! Haiti will be free!
Haiti will be free!
Thank you. My name is Jeremy Miller, and I am here representing the Black Alliance for Peace. We stand in solidarity with the people of Haiti, and we stand in solidarity with you all. We call
for the end of the banana man. Down with the Jovenel Moise regime in Haiti. And it's very odd to be here.
We're here standing. Turn this off. Hello?
We're here, thank you. We're here standing in the place where the United Nations was founded, allegedly with the aim of world peace. But as anyone who's been paying attention on the ground in Haiti knows, the United Nations has represented an occupying force there now for over a decade. So not only do we call for the end of the Jovenel Moise regime, but we call for the end of the United Nations occupation of Haiti. We call for an end to the manipulations and murderous activities of the core group of neoliberal fascists that are running game in Haiti. And most importantly, well, hold on, a couple more things. We call for an end to the arming of the Haitian military and the Haitian National Police by contractors and government and parastatal entities here in the United Capitalist Prison States of America. And finally, we stand in solidarity. It is an honor to hold this flag. We stand in solidarity with the people of Haiti, with the people that have been on the vanguard of revolution and liberation for over 2 centuries. And we echo their call. Their call is tout monde se monde. We're all human beings, which means that when we say all power to the people, like we do here, that means the people of Haiti. So will you join me, please? All power to the people. All power to the people. No compromise, no retreat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Give it up again for Jeremy. Thank you. That's right. But I thank folks for getting ready to march back to where we started. But if we're fortunate, you'll be able to hear okay a very, very dear comrade of the movement, the Haiti Solidarity Movement, and many others, Dave Welch. Labor activist, human rights activist. Dave has a legendary song that he has written himself and sung many times in solidarity with the people of Haiti. So I'm very excited and honored to turn this microphone over to Dave Welch. Yeah, please. I'm trying to call up the words, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to call it from a faraway place because this is a United States version of a Haiti solidarity song, and it starts saying, Haiti, trying to get free from the bourgeoisie. Haiti, oh, Haiti, free from the U.S. Embassy. When the people of Haiti got into the street, swept into power, Father, I received in just a few months a lot of changes made, with hope for the future and a lot of faith. Hey, Haiti, oh, Haiti, trying to get free from the bourgeoisie. Haiti, oh, Haiti, free from the U.S. Embassy. And then the U.S. paid for a coup d'etat. A lot of people killed and all of that. But U.S. vultures and the bourgeoisie are getting fat from the people's misery. Oh, Haiti, trying to get free from the bourgeoisie. Haiti, oh, Haiti, free from the U.S. Embassy. Now the people of Haiti are into the street. Haiti, oh, Haiti, free from the U.S. Embassy. Oh, free from the U.S. Embassy. Oh, free from the U.S. Embassy. All right. Give it up for Dave. Come on. All right. Actually, it was just brought to my attention that, thank you. Rachel, are you still here from Global Women's Strike?
Yes, she is.
We'd love to, Global Women's Strike does the most amazing solidarity work in the U.S., in England, with the people of Haiti. And they're doing incredible efforts to keep the movement going, supporting people's media, projects on the ground, and great political mobilization. So really happy that Rachel and Global Women's Strike contingent is here.
All right.
Heck yeah, we do. That's right. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti. Haiti will be free. Also, Pierre's opening speech will be on KPOO radio tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So, KPOO.com. So we want to thank everybody for coming out, the musicians, the artists, people taking the time on dealing with coming out in this COVID situation. But this is what's needed. We're going to keep coming back in bigger forces. We're going to intensify our activism. Look at some of the footage, of what's happening on the streets of Haiti. That raises and sets a standard for us. So let's make that commitment to come back, bring more and more people with you, and we're going to push this damn system down so that the people of Haiti are no longer blocked and they're rising. So, U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. U.S. out of Haiti, Haiti will be free. And special thanks to this comrade for providing a sound system. Thank you. Answer. Yeah, we appreciate you. So let's make our way back. We'll follow the banner again and leading front, and we will finish where we started. Liberation work on the peninsula, and they have co-founded a group called Justice Vanguard. They are also in full solidarity with the people of Haiti. So it's an honor to introduce Kiyoshi Taylor and Gideon Moise. Let's give it up.
How you guys doing today? Justice Vanguard, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and Tina's organization to show you how it's linked to the work Haiti's doing. We founded an organization centered behind education. And that's going to be one of the biggest battles we have when we fight for Haiti. Just educating the public on some of the horrors going on. Because most of these people don't know. They don't know about barbecue. They don't know about the massacres, the deportations going on. And it's up to us to call out the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy of the U.S. claims to be going through all this reform, then fund a terrorist organization like the police in Haiti. After we just had this whole drama with the vote and Trump, you would think we would want to see a fair election, not just here, but throughout the world. And we know that what's going on in Haiti was not fair. That was not a just election. The people of Haiti have spoken. So it's time for us to stand with them because they stood with us. It's the least we could do. So I'm here today with Ken, stand in solidarity, demand an end to Moise's reign. I'm not sure there's much for me to add. that education, is spreading that awareness so that we are armed to have these conversations to make change. We've talked about it happening in big cities. Well, racism also exists in the reaches of the U.S. government, reaches to suburbs. It reaches to all our communities. It reaches around the world. It is time for us to come together and realize these are not isolated incidents. It's time for us to get educated and start fighting to make changes.
Yes, sir.
So we appreciate how everyone continues to show up, continues to be active. We're a pretty good looking crowd today. We've had marches with like 4 or 5 people. That's it. Right here with Donnelly, who's been incredible. Megan joining us, and just 5 of us. This right here, this is stronger numbers. Let's keep this going. Let's keep this energy. Let's make this change.
Right on.
Thank you. Let's give it up. Freedom and unity. We're doing another one. Show me what unity looks like. This is what unity looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what unity looks like. This is what unity looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what unity looks like. This is what unity looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like.
You was out of Haiti! That's right. And we recognize that the struggle against occupation requires international solidarity to take it out, take down, decolonize, and end occupation everywhere it occurs, from Haiti to Palestine. It is an honor to introduce Samir, who's speaking today on behalf of the Arab Resource Organizing Center. So give it up for Samir! Thank you all so much. My name is Samir Harabi. I'm a member of the Arab Resource and Organizing Center, and AROC stands in solidarity with the Haitian people's struggle, and that's something I know that we all say a lot. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about what it means to stand in solidarity in a way from one marginalized community to another, right? There's the solidarity of a shared repression. The repression both in our homelands of like the desecration of our lands, the stealing of our resources, the murder and exile of our leaders, the installation of puppet presidents and petty tyrants, the belittlement and the scorn that's heaped upon our communities here in the U.S., the endless fear of state violence and deportation. These are struggles that our marginalized communities around the world share. But it's not just the repression that we stand in solidarity against, it's also the resistance that we do together, the shared international solidarity that allows us to fight back, to push back against these anti-democratic movements, to push back against the endless deportations, the ICE deportations, the bombings, the military occupations that can continue in all of our countries, the endless support of allied capitalist regimes around the world, from Jordan and Israel, who are not just killing Palestinians in Palestine, they're doing the same thing in Haiti. They're there too. And that sort of international like coalition of capitalist regimes is exactly the thing that we have to fight against. And that resistance is the thing that brings us all together and makes us stronger. And the third piece of solidarity that I really want to highlight is it's beyond a solidarity of resistance. It is a solidarity of revolution. Because in the crucible of that repression is exactly the movement that allows us to create something new. And the fact that this sort of thing is happening in Haiti and is happening in Palestine is not a coincidence. Those lands are exactly at the nexus of what is pushing back against capitalism, against neoliberalism, against colonialism and imperialism. Haiti was the first to throw off the yoke of slavery and the first to throw off the yoke of colonialism. And now it will be again the first to throw off the yoke of all these capitalist systems that are keeping us oppressed and poor and sick and hungry and weak, and we are building something new. And that movement we do together, because together we're strong. And thank you. And long live Palestine. All power to the people of Haiti. Thank you. Thank you, Samir. Let's give it up for Samir.
Free Palestine!
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 That's right. It's now, I'd like to introduce Gloria La Riva, who's done a lot of tireless work in the Bay Area and beyond. Part of the Answer Coalition, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, an incredible fighter. Let's give it up for Gloria La Riva.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, everybody. It's so great to see this demonstration today for Haiti. In 217 years, the Haitian people have never been allowed to exercise their full freedom after their revolution, the first and the most inspiring of a rebellion, a revolution by enslaved people. And whether Democrat or Republican, the vultures have never stopped picking at Haiti's flesh. Whether it was during the earthquake, when the Red Cross made billions of dollars, remember? Yeah. Billions off of Haiti, and did nothing for the country. Right. Or the United Nations troops that brought in and infected the country, the rivers, the water sources with cholera, and the UN refused to pay for that. Or the troops that the U.S. is behind everything that Pierre and others have spoken about. But the resistance of the Haitian people, like that of the Palestinians and people all over the world, never stops to inspire us. And this message must go out to this new administration. It's a relief that Trump isn't around. We hate to hear his voice, see his face, and the policies of white supremacy. But don't hold your hopes up for Biden. It'll only take a struggle. Yesterday, he said he's not going to stop the sanctions policy on Venezuela until they show they're willing to give something up. And nothing's happened with respect to Cuba. And of course, we know what the Clintons did. Under Bill Clinton, he forced that country to import rice from the United States on behalf of rice growers instead of letting them grow their famous self-sustaining rice. Or the pork, the native pork food supply that was also decimated to make sure that big business had its say. And Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, stepped in to make sure that the wages, the minimum wage, wasn't go up to what the people were demanding, which was only pennies an hour more. But she made sure on behalf of the corporations. So it's a big struggle. And we're inspired by seeing the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands in Haiti, marching, sacrificing, giving up whatever is needed for their real and true freedom, permanent freedom. And so we stand with you, Haiti. And thank you, everybody here, for demonstrating. We'll keep it up.
Que viva Venezuela! Que viva Cuba! Free Palestine! U.S. out of Haiti! U.S. out of Haiti! Haiti will be free! We have a few more speeches, and then we will march back to where we started. But first, it's also, and I say this, but it's the truth, it's an honor to introduce Ronna Harmon, who is an amazing young activist, also came all the way up from the South Bay. She's been to Haiti, she's interacted with the People's Movement. She has been president of the Black Student Union at Foothill Community College, and she's an amazing person. So we'll give it up for Ronna Harmon.
Thank you everyone for showing out today. I appreciate just you guys giving me your ear. It's an honor to be able to be here, privileged in San Francisco and not even be in Haiti and going through what we're going through. So we're all here in solidarity. So me bringing my piece here, my presence, I'm here to use my voice to, shed some light and some encouragement on one, the facts of what's going on, but also what you can do as you're standing here to draw, the line of connection for solidarity. We may feel very distant. We are not nowhere near Haiti physically, but in the heart and the spirit, and moving with our voices and continuing to spread the light with gatherings like this, social media, conversations, emails, phone calls. You have so much more power than you know that is, brought to your attention and your vision. So I want you to know that we're here to support Haitian people, but I don't want us to underestimate the power that Haitian people have, and that it was shown through the media, that they are very powerful, and we are here to recognize their strength and their power. We're not here to be their saviors. We are here to be their partners, their allies, and spread the voice of the overall fight for justice. So I have just a few different things to say. Haitians may not be enslaved today, but in 2021, their voices are not free, and they continue to be an example to Black lives all around the world. Haitians are leaders, resilient, smart, creative, caring, so brave, so strong, and so much more. Above all, Haitians are humans. Haitians are humans, just like us, full of love, life, laughter, who continue to be mistreated and ignored by the world. So take the time right now to just, appreciate the breath in your lungs and the space we're even to stand in. We have fresh air and light, and we're able to have even the space to have conversations like this. So may the revolution continue, one drop of water at a time, until Haiti is a flood of liberation. And then I have one more quote from late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, what life's blueprint is. The ending. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by the size you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. So thank you for your time listening to me, and may the revolution continue in the fight for liberation.
Thank you, Ronna.